Barack Obama. A name that, for many, still conjures images of hope, progress, and the promise of a more united America. He was the nation's first black president, a symbol of change whose election in 2008 electrified not just the country, but the world. For 8 years, he led the nation through economic crises and global conflicts, steering America out of the Great Recession and navigating the complexities of foreign policy. His administration passed landmark legislation, including the Affordable Care Act, and he became a global figure embodying hope and change for millions. Since leaving office, Obama has largely stayed above the political fray. His post-presidency has been marked by foundation work, best-selling books, and a reserved public presence, choosing to inspire from the sidelines rather than dominate headlines. But history is never truly finished. The past has a way of resurfacing, especially when the stakes are high and the nation's future feels uncertain. Now, in the summer of 2025, Obama's legacy faces its greatest test yet. The country is more divided than ever, and the echoes of his presidency are at the center of a new and unprecedented controversy. Accusations of treason, yes, treason, are being hurled at the former president. The allegations are shocking, sending shockwaves through Washington and beyond. This isn't fringe conspiracy. It's a political firestorm at the highest levels of government. Congressional hearings are underway, and the media is in a frenzy, dissecting every detail. The charge that Obama orchestrated a conspiracy to undermine his successor and American democracy itself has ignited fierce debate. Supporters call it a witch hunt. Critics demand accountability. News channels are in overdrive, pundits are shouting, and the public is left to question what's real. Social media is ablaze with theories, rumors, and outrage, making it nearly impossible to separate fact from fiction. How did a president who left office with high approval ratings become the target of such explosive allegations? The transformation from celebrated leader to embattled figure is as dramatic as it is bewildering. The story is a tangled web of old grievances, new power plays, and relentless media strategy. Political rivals see opportunity, while allies scramble to defend a legacy now under siege. Obama's entire legacy is now a partisan battleground. Every achievement, every controversy, is being re-examined through the harsh lens of today's political climate. The nation is forced to confront uncomfortable questions about justice, power, and the stability of its institutions. What does it mean for democracy when a former president stands accused at this level? Is there any truth to these claims? Or is this the most audacious political attack in modern history? The investigation is ongoing and the stakes could not be higher. The answer could reshape America's understanding of its own democracy and determine how history remembers Barack Obama. Who's behind this political earthquake? The nation is gripped by a storm of accusations, and the search for answers has become a spectacle in itself. As the headlines swirl and speculation mounts, the question on everyone's mind is simple. Who is truly orchestrating this unprecedented attack on the political establishment? At the center of the storm stands Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democratic congresswoman who has reinvented herself as the Director of National Intelligence under President Trump. Once a rising star in her party, Gabbard's transformation from political outsider to intelligence chief has shocked many, and her boldness is now on full display. On July 23, 2025, Gabbard took the extraordinary step of publicly accusing former President Barack Obama of masterminding a years-long coup. Her statement, delivered with unwavering conviction, instantly gave the claims a level of official credibility that sent shockwaves through Washington and beyond. President Trump wasted no time. He seized on Gabbard's allegations, declaring Obama's guilt as fact before the world, and mobilized his vast social media following. Memes of Obama's arrest flooded the internet, fueling outrage and deepening divisions across the country. For Trump, this moment is more than just political theater, it's personal vindication. After years of controversy and investigation, he now sees a chance to rewrite the story of his presidency, casting himself as the victim of a grand conspiracy and the hero who exposed it. But the accusations don't stop with Obama. Gabbard and Trump have widened their net, targeting Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and former intelligence chiefs like James Comey. The narrative paints a picture of a sprawling, coordinated effort to undermine Trump's presidency from the shadows. This is no impulsive outburst. It's a meticulously planned campaign, with every move calculated to maximize impact. Behind closed doors, strategists plot the next steps, treating politics like a high-stakes chess match where every piece matters. Gabbard provides the official complaint, lending the operation a veneer of legitimacy. Trump, meanwhile, brings the political firepower, rallying his base and dominating the airwaves with his relentless messaging. Together, they've created a powerful echo chamber. News outlets, social media, and political commentators all amplify the accusations, repeating them until they seem inescapable, until the line between fact and fiction begins to blur. The goal is clear: frame the debate, seize control of the national narrative, and force political opponents onto the defensive. The stakes are enormous, with the future of American democracy hanging in the balance. But can these explosive claims withstand the scrutiny of investigators, journalists, and the courts? As the nation watches, the search for truth becomes a battle in itself. Or will this elaborate narrative collapse under the weight of its own ambition, leaving only questions and chaos in its wake? What evidence supports these earth-shattering claims? So far, none. No new proof, no smoking gun, just recycled reports and declassified documents already reviewed and dismissed by bipartisan investigations. The centerpiece, a 2020 report, rebranded as explosive, but containing nothing new. Critics call it a misleading repackaging of old information. Previous investigations found no Obama-led coup. These findings are ignored in favor of a shaky counter-narrative. Obama's spokesperson calls the claims outrageous and a distraction. For now, the case exists only in the court of public opinion, not in any court of law. Can a former U.S. president go to jail? Legally, yes, but it's complicated. The idea of a president behind bars might sound like something out of a political thriller, but it's a real question that has fascinated Americans for generations. The U.S. Constitution doesn't grant presidents lifelong immunity, and in theory, they can be prosecuted like any other citizen once they leave office. No one is above the law, but actions taken as president are shielded by executive privilege and immunity. This means that while in office, presidents are protected from prosecution for official acts, making it nearly impossible to charge them until their term ends. Even then, the legal process is far from straightforward. Prosecuting a former president for official acts would trigger a historic legal battle, likely ending at the Supreme Court. The justices would have to weigh the balance between holding leaders accountable and protecting the presidency from endless legal attacks. The stakes would be enormous, with implications for the separation of powers and the future of American democracy. History offers near misses, not precedents. Nixon was pardoned by his successor, Gerald Ford, after resigning in disgrace over Watergate. That pardon avoided a trial and set a controversial example, sparking debate about whether justice was truly served or if political stability took priority. And Trump faces ongoing legal battles, with multiple indictments and investigations making headlines. His cases are testing the limits of presidential accountability and raising new questions about the reach of the law. But no former president has ever been imprisoned. Despite scandals, resignations, and investigations, the ultimate step of sending a former commander-in-chief to jail has never happened in American history. The legal possibility exists, but political and historical barriers remain formidable. The nation would have to grapple with the consequences, both at home and abroad, of jailing a former leader. The spectacle of a former president on trial is unprecedented. It would dominate headlines, divide public opinion, and test the strength of American institutions in ways never seen before. The outcomes of current cases will set the tone for decades. They could redefine the boundaries of presidential power and accountability for future generations. As of now, the idea remains theoretical, a legal possibility, but a political minefield. The debate continues in courtrooms, Congress, and living rooms across the country. The question isn't just can it happen, but should it? As Americans, we must consider not only the law, but the values and precedents we set for the future of our democracy. Who benefits from these accusations? Many see this as classic misdirection. Trump's administration faces its own scandals, so the spotlight shifts to Obama. By attacking Obama, Trump energizes his base and reframes the national conversation. Obama is a symbol. Targeting him is a way to attack the entire Democratic establishment. The accusations serve to divide, mobilize, and distract. It's a high-risk, high-reward strategy, tarnish a rival, or risk being seen as abusing power. The justice system becomes a political battlefield. In this fight, truth is often the first casualty. The DOJ has formed a special strike force to review Gabbard's allegations. On the surface, it looks serious, an official response to explosive claims, but legal experts say this is not a criminal investigation, just a review. It may be a bureaucratic holding pattern, not a real probe. For Trump supporters, it's validation. For critics, it's political theater. The strike force branding keeps the story alive, even if it's just lawyers reading old files. The unit's fate is uncertain. It could quietly dissolve or fuel a prolonged investigation. Meanwhile, the cloud of suspicion lingers, a political victory for the accusers. The mere existence of the review gives the allegations an air of legitimacy, regardless of the facts. Imagine if this escalated, Obama arrested, charged with treason. The result: instant constitutional crisis, mass protests, and chaos. Supporters would see persecution. Opponents would claim justice. The nation would be paralyzed, institutions shaken. Arresting a former president would shatter norms and weaponize the justice system. The precedent: every president fears prosecution by their successor. Thankfully, this remains highly unlikely. No credible evidence has surfaced. Institutional guardrails would likely resist such a move, but the fact we're even considering it shows how fragile our political norms have become. Through it all, Obama has remained silent, by design. His spokesperson issued a denial, but Obama himself refuses to engage. This silence denies his accusers the confrontation they crave. It projects confidence and trust in the institutions and the public. Engaging would dignify the allegations. Silence keeps the focus on the facts. Supporters see strength. Critics spin it as arrogance or guilt. The Obama camp is betting that restraint will outlast the noise. Without a public feud, the accusers must keep the story alive on their own. The media and public are forced to examine the substance, not the spectacle. It's a risky but calculated long game. History, not headlines, will be the final judge. Where does this leave us? Grave accusations, no new evidence, and a nation at a crossroads. Is this the start of a new era of political warfare, or just another burst of partisan noise? The DOJ's review and relentless media campaign test the limits of the system. The goal may be a conviction in public opinion, not in court, or this could fade as just another scandal in the post-truth era. One thing is clear: America's political norms are more fragile than ever. Whether this is a footnote or a crisis, it's a sobering reflection of our turbulent times.